Had a question come in from Evmorphia who says, I would like to know ways that will make my course interactive. I want my students to track their progress and be able to evaluate themselves. I'm particularly interested in tech tools that can help me with that. Now, this is how big a piece of string do you want? What kind of interactivity you want? What's the purpose of the interactivity? So I'm going to give you a couple of tips of things that I do recommend you can do that are really simple and easy. But when you are coming to planning interactivity, you have to go right back to this purpose thing. What am I trying to teach people? What skills do I want them to have? What knowledge do I want them to have? What feelings do I want them to have by the end of the course? And does this interactivity help implement and directly lead them to having those skills, that knowledge and those feelings? If it doesn't, I'd question whether it's worth the effort that you're putting in, right? When people join online courses particularly, or coaching programs, really they are simply looking to get the result that the program promises. Yes, it's great to have some fun stuff and some fun elements in there, but most people don't go into a course thinking, oh, I really hope it's got an interactive quiz. Right? Now, unless you are creating educational content for key stages in schools, really interactivity isn't always necessary. Teaching the content straight to the point to get them the result they want as fast and directly as possible absolutely is important. Assuming that the interactive element is part of them acquiring the skills, knowledge and feelings that you want them to have by the end of your course. A couple of different things you can do. Now, using a video editing software like Camtasia or Articulate are tools that enable you to create clickable videos. This is what we mean by interactive videos. You can actually have a bit of teaching, for instance, and then on the screen it might say, what colour shirt was Sarah wearing? Blue or black? And then the student can click the button that appears on the video screen and it will tell them whether they were right or wrong. That is one example of what an interactive video would look like. Now, tools like Camtasia and Articulate are paid video creation tools, so you will need to have a budget and some skills to learn how to use those. But in the question we had here from Evmorphia, she then went on to say, I want to track my students' progress and I want them to be able to evaluate themselves. So there's again two parts to this. Tracking student progress is usually a standard part of any learning management system. So all-in-one course creation platforms like Techmatics will show the student what their progress is in the progress bar in their portal, but also has a analytics area for you as the administrator to see where every student is at in their course, what lessons they've completed, where they've got to, what quizzes they've done. That will all show up in your course analytics section for you to be able to see their progress from behind the scenes too. Now, in terms of progress, you can gamify this in lots of different ways. One really simple way that I do this as an example with my 30 days, 30 tips challenge. This is a challenge where I get people to go live every single day for 30 days with a tip to their audience to grow their influence as an expert in their field and to grow their social media followings. And I simply got a Google Sheet and I put a column for every single day from days 1 to 30. I got everyone to list their name down the left-hand side of that sheet and then simply check the check boxes as they've gone live or implemented the task for each day. Now, the cool thing about Google Docs is they are active. They're live documents that multiple people can collaborate on at exactly the same time. So all I did is I took the share link for that Google Doc and stuck it in the lesson inside the course. So the lesson could be called, I think I call it the action tracker in my 30 days, 30 tips challenge. So it says, come here and update the action tracker with your progress. And so the students go in, it's embedded inside the lesson itself, so they don't have to leave the lesson, right? They just go into that lesson, they can go next to their name and check the checkbox of where they're at, so everyone can see who's up to date with all of the tasks, and it really creates this sense of motivation, accountability and gamification between the students as well to keep progressing. So simple, no extra costs for any extra software, and it is really effective. Now, the other answer to this question where you said, how can I get them to evaluate themselves? You can use simple quiz and survey tools. Quizzes and surveys are slightly different, and Techmatics has both of them in our all-in-one system. Quizzes are quite simply when you say, I don't know, here's a question, and the options are A, B, C, or D. Select which one or ones are correct, and then it will tell the student if they were right or wrong and which one was the correct answer. Okay, simple quizzes. That can be done right inside Techmatics and is really easy for the students to assess their own progress, assess their own knowledge as they're progressing through the training. The other method is to use something like surveys, and surveys have what's called conditional logic inside it. So this is where you can ask a bunch of questions, and depending on the student's answer, it will then send them to other questions, bypass questions, ask more in-depth questions, depending on what information it is that you're trying to collect. So there are 1,000,001 ways to do anything when it comes to creating the courses, creating interactive content, getting your students to be engaged, getting them to be aware of their progress, stay in the program, keep that retention and completion rate up, and for you to collect data, either for the students to self-assess themselves through those quizzes, or for you to get feedback and information about where they're at so that you can intervene in that learning process. If you have more questions about those, please feel free to drop them in the comments or DM me. Or, better than that, come and join my Concept to Course 30-day group coaching program, where I'll help you plan, create the content for, film, edit, set up your tech, and launch and market your very own online course, coaching program, or membership in just 30 days. You have more than 30 days access to the content though. I will be there every step of the way. I'm a postgraduate qualified teacher, trainer, curriculum developer and course creation specialist. I have been in the course creation education sector for well over a decade and hold the record for being the youngest university head of campus and executive director in Australian history. I have worked in the B2C space, helping individuals create courses, and with governments, universities, colleges, registered training organisations and corporate organisations for a very long time. So if you want to create your course properly, you want to create one that your learners will absolutely love, that are going to change lives, then you know what to do. Come and join us in Concept to Course and I'll see you there.